Hello again everyone from Tokyo, Japan, and welcome back to Two Wheels in Tokyo. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Brompton Clones. And the title of this video is Brompton Clones and Why You Should Get One. I'm not making this video to try to talk people out of buying genuine Brompton bicycles. I really love Brompton. I love what they make. I love the quality. And I've owned two Bromptons myself in the past, an M3L and an M6L. But unfortunately, Bromptons are expensive, and the price of entry into the Brompton Club nowadays is quite high. And with the cost of everything else being as high as it is nowadays, not a lot of people have enough money to buy a new Brompton or even a used one. And for these people, a Brompton clone might be a good option. Now, Brompton clones are available because Brompton's patent on this bicycle design expired some years ago. And so if you're buying a clone, you're not really ripping off Brompton. You're just, you're buying something which was legally made and that you don't have to have any hard feelings for if you decide to go out and buy one. Now, this particular Brompton clone is a Japanese brand. This is the Cospa 2 or Cospa E. The double I is like a long E sound in Japanese. And that's also the word you use, the casual word for good. It's kind of like the end part of Yoroshi. And on the top there of the sticker, it says assembled in Japan. What that means is that most of this bike, or probably all of it, was made in China and Taiwan, and the parts were shipped here to Japan, where they were assembled into a complete bicycle and sold here in the domestic Japanese market. Now, I bought this bicycle a couple of years ago, and I think I paid about $700 for it brand new. This particular model is the B5. B means Brompton, Cospa E or Cospa 2, whatever you want to call it. They also make copies of other kinds of bikes. B means Brompton. 5 means it's a 5-speed bike, and this bicycle features an external 5-speed driveline. What that means is that it has this normal cassette on the outside, and the gearing control is external, as opposed to internal, which is the design used on conventional Bromptons. Those usually have a Sturmey Archer internally geared 3-speed hub, and sometimes a 3-speed hub attached to an external 2-speed system, which gives you a grand total of 6 speeds. Now, I chose this bike because I wanted a simple Brompton type bike, which wasn't super expensive. My last Brompton was stolen. I left it outside, locked up. I came out, the lock was still there, but the bike was gone. And I decided I was going to get one of these, and if I have to lock it outside, and yes, I actually do steal bicycles here in Tokyo from time to time. It's not common, but if you have a Brompton, that's one of the ones which is more likely to get stolen. I was quite disappointed, but I figured if I spend less on the bike and it gets stolen, I won't be as heartbroken. So I ended up getting this one. Another reason I got this was because of the external 5-speed driveline, which offers better gear range and a more simplified design over the original Brompton type. Now, the Sturmey Archer 3-speed is internally geared hub has been around for more than a century, and it's a very trusted and proven design, but unfortunately it's very heavy and adds a significant amount of weight to the bicycle. Now, if you're looking at the 6-speed setup, which has the 3-speed internally geared hub and 2-speed cassette on the outside with the derailleur, that adds a lot of complication to the bike. It requires 2 shifters to operate the 2 different systems. It's kind of the same as road bikes or gravel bikes, which have like a 2x10 or 2x12 driveline with 2 shifters. But in a folding bike, something which is small, the components take up more space. And I just kind of like the system on this bike better. Newer Bromptons, of course, are offering newer options for drive lines and a wider variety of gear ranges and things like that. But these higher end Bromptons of course cost even more money than their entry-level bikes. So for someone who wants a Brompton on a budget, it's hard enough to buy the basic one, and let alone try to get one of the higher end ones. Now, this bicycle here, I like the Brompton design for, the main reason is that it folds up to a very compact size. And it features what is called a trifold design. It has 2 hinge points on the frame. There's one here on the back, which allows you to fold the rear wheel underneath the frame. There's a second hinge on the front, which allows you to fold back the frame and back wheel. And then you fold down the bar, and that gives you a very compact folded bike. It makes it very easy to store in your apartment if you don't have a lot of space. You can also keep it under your desk at work. It makes it easier to carry on trains and subways, or in the back of a taxi, or even on a flight. When I was last flying from America to Japan, and I was at the gate, I was surprised to see a guy wheeling up a semi-folded Brompton to the gate, and he brought it on the plane and brought it on as a personal item, which was quite surprising to me. And not even in a bag. And that kind of saves him the trouble and expense of a taxi or another way, to get to his hotel or whatever once he arrived in Japan. But they're really wonderful for that. That's the good point. The bad point about the Brompton design is kind of one of the consequences of one of its good points, is its strength and reliability. The problem with the strong and reliable bikes is that they tend to be heavy. And Bromptons are heavy. They're normally constructed entirely of steel. Steel lasts forever. It's very durable, very strong, and much more corrosion resistant than aluminum. A lot of people might disagree with that, but in my experience, steel bikes last longer than aluminum, and they're much more durable than carbon fiber. So there's a lot going for steel, but it is heavy. And normally an M3L Brompton weighs much more than your typical road bike or gravel bike, and a fair amount more than your typical mountain bike. So the first thing I did with this bike when I brought it home is I put it on a diet. And I started by upgrading the fork with a titanium fork, and then replacing the triangle in the back with a titanium triangle. Now, I bought these online here in Japan, and I paid, I think it was 45,000 yen, which works out to about $300. And that made a significant difference in the weight of the bike. My next upgrade was the bar. I got rid of the original flat aluminum bar, and I put in this Light Pro carbon fiber riser bar, which weighs about a third as much, despite the fact that it's a riser bar. The next thing I did is I put in this used Brompification titanium seat post. I think I paid about $70 for that. That's about what I paid for the stem as well, $70. Not expensive. Another upgrade which I added was the titanium bottom bracket, which weighs about half as much as the original bottom bracket. And as this bike sits right now, it weighs 10 kilograms exactly. That's about 22 pounds, which is not bad at all for a Brompton. And the lighter weight makes a huge difference when you're carrying the bike, or when you're loading it in the trunk, or in my case, you're putting it on top of the closet or wardrobe where I normally keep this bike. So I have limited space here in my Japanese apartment, though it's actually considered a large apartment by Japanese standards. And also, if I have to carry it upstairs or something like that, the lightweight makes a big difference. It's much more portable. And the lighter weight makes a huge difference in the performance of the bike. It accelerates more quickly, it decelerates more quickly, it handles more quickly. That's why people, many cyclists are called weight weenies, and try as hard as they can to get the bike weight down to the minimum. And this bike here still has some room to make it a little bit lighter. Now, some upgrades which I've been considering to further reduce the weight are to replace the stem, which is quite a heavy piece, probably one of the heaviest pieces on the bike besides the frame itself. And the pedals, this bicycle is still running these rather heavy and clunky folding pedals. And possibly the crankset. The crankset isn't especially heavy, but there are cranksets out there now which weigh about half as much. Now, I could get this bicycle down to about 9 kilograms. That wouldn't make it competitive with the T-line bike which Brompton makes, but the total price of this bike so far, the brand new Cospa E, Cospa 2, whatever you want to call it, all the upgrades and everything I've done to this bike so far, it adds up to around $1,400, $1,450, which is still much less than the price for an entry-level Brompton, but with a much lighter weight and much improved performance. Now, if I were really, if I really want the lightest bike for a good price, I would simply buy the full titanium components online, somewhere from China, and have them sent out and build it into a bike. And that would give me an 8 kilogram Brompton copy. It would cost much more than what I've paid for this one here, but it would still cost much less than something like a Brompton T-line. Now, other things which I like about Brompton bikes, the fact that, they are wonderful commuters in the city. They're nimble, they are small. The bars aren't especially wide. It makes it easy to navigate, between cars, through the traffic, and in tight places. The small wheels make the bicycle quick handling and kind of easy to accelerate. And I also like the fact that you can add a lot of upgrades to the bike. Popular upgrades are usually, besides the ones to lighten the weight, there are things like baskets and racks and things like that. This bicycle features this block on the front on which I can add baskets and racks and things of various designs. I usually attach a basket to the front of this bike to take my dog to the dog park. He fits inside perfectly. He loves to sit in there. He has a wonderful view of the road when I'm riding. Another upgrade would be to add a rack on the back of the bicycle. This is for carrying more stuff on the back, and also to make parking the bicycle easier. You just fold the rear wheel underneath the bike, and the bike will stand up by itself. And yeah, definitely a worthwhile upgrade, though those things do add weight to the bike. Fenders are also a good idea. I'm in the market for fenders. I want black fenders for this bike. The silver ones are more common, so I'll go ahead and add those on. But yeah, this is a work in progress, and over time I plan to hopefully make a few more upgrades to this bike and continue using it for riding around here in Tokyo and taking my dog to and from the park. Anyway, that's it for my video on Brompton Clones and why I think you should get one. If you have any questions about this bike or this design of bike in particular, questions about upgrades or things like that, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do plan on adding more content to my channel now that we're back from our holiday travels and I'm back on my regular schedule. If you'd like to see this, please subscribe. And if you like the video, please click the like button. That always helps. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you tune in again soon.